Oh no, so that's a good question. So when did the actual ritual of a shadchan emerge? So the first time that the actual term, well, the term of shadchan appears in the Gemara a couple times, but it doesn't mean in the Gemara the way that we refer to it. So the Gemara says that Rav used to give lashes to anybody who got married without a shadchan, but it doesn't mean a shadchan. But it doesn't mean a shadchan in the way that we use it. If you look at the commentaries, it says that it means in a
now the shadchan gives lashes to people.
Discussion like, oh my God, do I have to go through a shadchan or am I going to get lashes? Right. And so if you read the commentaries on the Gemara, it doesn't mean a shadchan. It means if you got married with no arrangements, without any forethought, because if you got married without thinking about it at all, about what each of you are going to bring to the marriage, specifically it's referring to financial arrangements, which was way more common to negotiate what the dowry was going to be that the girl was going to bring into the marriage and what the guy was going to provide. So if you got married without discussing that ahead of time, then Rav would lash you because that was just irresponsible.
So it's like counsel. There was, as long as there was some kind of counsel and guidance, to see how those stocks were invested.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's interesting that if you look, so the first time the term shadchan actually appears is in the medieval times. It's in the Rishonim, which is around the year 1200 or 1300. Mm-hmm. So you might ask, and I'll quickly say what happened in the time of the Gemara and the times of the Talmud, which was like a large chunk of history. And so we find a few hints. I wasn't able to find anybody that explicitly addresses this, but I think that we can kind of build a picture based on one or two passages in the Gemara. So one of them is the fact that we're told that the girls used to go out in white dresses and dance and try to attract men on a couple days a year. It says that Yom Kippur and Tu B'Av were two days of the year that were considered the most joyous days of the year. And the reason why was because the women used to get dressed up in white, and specifically everybody wore white, so that we wouldn't be able to differentiate between who came from a wealthy family and who came from a less successful family financially. And basically everybody would look the same, and then the men would go out and pick their wives. So it seems like shadchanim were not necessarily involved in the times of the Gemara, interestingly. And so what changed? Cool. So what happened was around 1200, 1300 or so, the Rishonim, the medieval scholars, rabbis, start to talk about shadchans. And so why did shadchan start to begin in those days? So I think that there were a few factors.
Oh, I think I know.
Yeah, what do you think?
Because they wanted to make single people very unhappy with their lives.
Correct.
Avery, you want to guess one?
Was it because the Inquisition? I'm kidding. No. No, maybe. Was it because of the influence of...
Oh, it's because
I had a side question.
They hate their family and I need to let it out on that's poor, innocent, beautiful, and good-looking, handsome men from New York.
Actually, the Inquisition was not a bad guess. So part of the reason was because in those days, people started to get married younger. So in the time of the Gemara, we know that the Mishnah Perkei Avos says that when should you get married? What do we know? How old is a person when they reach the age of marriage?
18.
18.
9. Okay.
18, right? It
18.
says...
no. That's why she denied you. She was 9. Come on.
I waited. I wanted an older woman, so she was 16.
Oh, sorry.
You got to be wise about it 100%.
Yeah. Go ahead.
It says Ben Yud Ches Lechuppah in Perkei Avos. So seems like people waited till 18. And even though there seems to be that, it's a discussion if there's a mitzvah to get married or not. We don't have to get into that now, but basically...
Just to have the actual Kedushin process.
Yeah.
Right? The mitzvah, they say, is only per Revu.
Yeah, so some say it's only per Revu, some say there's an actual mitzvah.
Isn't it obvious, right? If there is a mitzvah or not. It's a mitzvah to get married, right? There's a mitzvah to have children, and you're not allowed to have children unless you're married. So what...
Yeah, everyone agrees to that. It's more of a technical discussion. Technically, when do you fulfill, is there a mitzvah just to have kids, or is the prerequisite also?
Nobody talks Shidduchim. This is the Nobody Talks Shidduchim podcast.